Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. My name is Maria KOROLOV. I'm the editor here at MetaStellar, and I'm here to tell you that the top-selling free speculative fiction book on Amazon today is a box set of 3 different books, plus a short story and other material, set in the future at a time when humanity is at war with itself and aliens are coming. So excellent series. And there's more than 20 books in it. So if you like it, it's got thousands of 5-star reviews. But before we get to that, we've got 4 other books to talk about. You see, every single Friday, the team here at MetaStellar reads the first few chapters of every book on Amazon's top 5 list. We used to do 10, but that was like too much work and the videos would be way too long. So now we're down to 5. I was helped today by reviews assistant fiction editor TERRENCE Smith and community member Alex MUELLER, and both of them are here today. Hey guys. Hi Terrence. Hi Alex.
Hello.
All right, and the link to the article and to all the books is in the description box below, and I'm also going to try to remember to add it to the first comment. For those who are new, MetaStellar is an online magazine of speculative fiction. All the content is always free to our readers. We publish original short fiction, reprints, excerpts, essays, and lots of book reviews like these. And we're able to do this thanks to the generous support of our Patreon funders. Thanks, you guys. And we have 2 anthologies out that I'm going to have the links to them in the description box below, Year 1 and Year 2. Okay, so let's get into the books. Starting with book number 5. So this book is called Her Savior by Vaughn, and it's the 15th of 20 books in the Northeast Kingdom Bears, a paranormal romance series. The other books are $6 to $10 each, but they're all in Kindle Unlimited. So if you like stories about shape-shifting bears and hot sex, check this out. So I'm not a fan of romance. I've got a cold heart. And I generally don't like books with naked guys on the cover. So, and I also don't like books about fated mates and about shapeshifters and pack structures and all that other stuff. It's stupid to say this because this is about magical creatures, but there are no alpha males with real wolves. That has been debunked ages ago. And they do not have fated mates. I mean, they do mate for life, but if something happens, they'll find another mate. Anyway, personal pet peeve there. But I know a lot of people like these books because they're always at the top of the bestseller lists. So let's get started with this one. It's set around Christmas, which is Holly's favorite time of the year. She runs a hair salon, and her only family is Gigi, her best friend and partner in the salon, and Opal, who works as the receptionist. All 3 of them are shapeshifters, and their other shape is cougars, the animal kind, not the man-hungry older woman kind. So Holly is lonely, but she's worked her way through all the were-cougars in her clan, and her cat side didn't like any of them. And then there's a new guy in town. It's a small town. And the new hot guy comes into the shop and she gives him a haircut. They flirt. He asks her out. They meet for dinner. They go to her place afterwards. They have mad, explicit sex. And then she finds out that he's not a cat shifter like she thought. He's a bear shifter. And she kicks him out because her clan leader is against mixing with the bears or something. And
that's racist.
I know, right? He doesn't want to have mixed breed babies, or she. I don't know who the clan leader is. So anyway, the writing is engaging. It does pull you in. There's a reason the book is on the bestseller list, but I don't really care about Holly's predicament. I think she should kick the guy to the curb because of the whole fated mates thing. No, who cares about fate? You know, make your own destiny. And also she should travel. Why is she stuck in a small town all her life? The main reason she can't be with this guy is because she'd have to leave town. You know what? If that's like your biggest obstacle in life, leave town, travel. So anyway, I'm not into this book because the premise kind of skews me out. And I also have strong suspicions that the two of them are going to end up together and have a happily ever after, which I understand a lot of people like, and a lot of people are going to love this book. And again, it is very readable, and there are 20 books in the series. So, and a lot of those other books are free today as well. So if you like this kind of thing, the book is very readable, and you can pick up a lot of books for free by this author today. Okay, next we have Queens and Monsters by Inzia Amare, the first of 4 books in the Blood Falls paranormal romance series. The other books are $5 each, but they're all in Kindle Unlimited, and the author has been on this list before. Kindle Unlimited, if you don't know, is where you pay $12 a month and you read all the Kindle Unlimited books you want. It's like a Netflix for books. So again, naked guy on the cover, so it's not for me. But none of our usual romance reviewers were around today, so if you want to join us, email me. My email is in this description box below. Please save me from the mushy stuff. All right, so the book starts out by telling us that back in 1960, a strong earthquake struck Chile and opened a barrier between our world and another, and stuff came through. Then in the present day, Risa is a college student. She works at the university bookstore, and one day a woman comes in. She's looking for a particular book, and the book is sold out, but Risa has squirreled away her own copy, and she gives it to this woman. The woman's grateful, promises to come back with a cake, and the following Monday, she does come back with a cake. Then there's an accident, and one of the woman's brothers, who for some reason came with her, was hurt, and he's sexy, and he was shot in the shoulder. So she feels very weird when she sees the blood. She hears voices, feels paralyzed and feverish, goes home in pain, passes out naked in a cold shower. When she wakes up, she's in her bed, and that strange woman is in her house. And the strange woman tells Risa that Risa is a vampire. She's always been a vampire, and the sight of blood has woken up her vampire side. And apparently she never knew this, but her parents were big shots in the vampire world, and she's the sole heir of the House of Axel. And her father was dead, and her father's family was at war with her mother's family. And there's sex, and there's drama, and there's vampire politics, all that stuff. And it is very readable. Again, there's a reason why it's on the bestseller list. But I'm not caught up in the story. I don't like the family drama or vampire politics, so I'm not going to stick with it. Next, we have a book whose title I love, and that doesn't have a naked man in the cover, Between a Witch and a Hard Place by Celia Roman, the first of 4 books in the Vanessa Kinley Witch PI urban fantasy series. The other books are $4 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. And Alex read this for us. Alex, what did you think of this book?
Okay, well, it's an urban fantasy book, I can tell you that. Like it sort of goes off on, it has a habit of going off on tangents. I mean, it starts off with a tangent by our heroine, in which she describes a list of rules she'd made for herself to dictate how she lives her life. Don't pick fights you can't win, which is reasonable. Don't date people with pretty hair, odd, but you do you. Never interact with vampires, which probably isn't a bad idea. So naturally, the first thing that happens is that this woman needs to interact with a vampire. A very sexy vampire who would probably seem even sexier if sex appeal wasn't constantly being shoved down our throats. Seriously, I timed how long it took me to read this, like this episode, 1 hour. 1/4 of that time was spent by our heroine noticing how sexy this vampire is when he's around with her. Another quarter was spent by the heroine remembering how sexy the vampire is when he's not around, which means I had to spend half an hour reading about how sexy this vampire was. But this isn't just a sexy vampire. No, it's a sexy vampire with a job opportunity. The job? Get the heroine to track down her missing mother who hasn't been seen in 16 years. What happened to the mother? Why is she gone? We don't know. What connection does the mother have to the vampire who's looking for her? We don't know. What do we know? The vampire is sexy. I'm pretty torn on this. On the one hand, I do like mystery. I also like urban fantasy. What I don't like is constantly being reminded of how sexy one of the characters is. We get it. Vampires are sexy. They've been sexy since Bram Stoker wrote Dracula. And you know what? Those sexy vampires aren't special. They don't hold a candle to the original big man and the three sexy vampire ladies who live in his house. It's not going to happen. No one's going to compare. Let's just move on. We don't need to constantly call attention to this. If you like urban fantasy and if you like mystery, and if you're also okay with a sexy vampire eclipsing all other aspects of the story, you'll probably like this one. I don't, and I won't be going ahead with it.
All right. So next we have another romance, another paranormal romance, Stone Guardian. Let me make that a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see that book. There it is. The first of 6 books in the Masonry, Magic, and Love series. The other books are $5 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. The author has been in this list before. In about a year ago, we reviewed Closed Campus, the first of 6 books in the Jane Zombie post-apocalyptic sci-fi series. So Terrence read this one. Terrence, what did you think of this book?
I will say that although I'm likely won't end up continuing reading this, it is better than I thought it would be. The thing that grabbed my attention about it was one, it says it's a sweet paranormal romance, so that implied to me that there are no toxic, controlling, supernatural creatures in this story because paranormal romance is littered with them. On a side note, Bella should have chosen Jacob. Well, anyway, back to the review. I have an affinity for gargoyles because of the Disney animated series of the same name. So I figured I'd check it out. And I like what I've read so far. It follows this college student and librarian named Nancy, who is a business major, which doesn't fulfill her. She has also just found out her library has received budget cuts, so her job is in jeopardy now. And a call from a credit card company hinted that her boyfriend is cheating on her, and she has a best friend who's trying to hook her up, but the biggest confidant she has, it's this one gargoyle statue that looks in her direction through the window, and there are hints that the gargoyle has some life in it because it seems like the gargoyle is always looking in her direction. And there's also a coworker named Graham who has a thing for her. He's always looking at her, and at first I thought he was a creep, particularly when he was asking her what was wrong and he touched her elbow, but it does seem like he does genuinely care about her. He offered to see if he could get her a job at a relative's library, and he also has a collection of Marvel action figures in his workplace. So that makes me want to believe that he is a fellow autistic. And what Nancy ends up doing is she flips the coin in the fountain to make a wish to have the happily ever after that she believes she deserves, and that's what's going to bring out the gargoyle and start all the other craziness. It all has the setup. It has elements of a cheesy Hallmark movie, like a Hallmark rom-com, which isn't a bad thing. It's fluff, it's comfort food. And what I really enjoyed about is that the author, Gayle Katz, really captures what book nerds love about libraries. The author talks about the musty smell of the books, and there's a crackling fireplace in there. This person gets that libraries are a sanctuary, and the story also takes place in a small Vermont town, and being a New Englander, that makes me happy. The descriptions of the chill of the autumn air and the colored leaves falling, and that just really resonates me, that imagery. So there is a lot to like about this story so far. So if you have a thing for paranormal romances, this would be one to check out.
All right, thanks, Terrence. So before we get to book number 1 in today's list, I want to thank our Patreon supporters. Their names are right there. Thanks, guys. We wouldn't be here without you. Like I said, we publish fiction, original fiction that we pay 8 cents a word for. Thanks to these guys. So if you want to help us publish more fiction, please support us on Patreon. And you can also get our free Friday reviews and videos in your email box every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you subscribe to our newsletter, the link to that is in the description box below. Now on to the number 1 book in the series. Let me make that a little bit bigger so you can see it. There you go. So the first book is called Starshine, and it's the first of 21 books in the Amaranthe space opera series. And here you get a box set of Starshine, Vertigo, and Transcendence. So what's the star of the book is Alex, and her mom is a big shot in the Earth military, in the Terran Alliance. Her dad was a war hero in a war against the Senecan Foundation. And the war's been over for like over 20 years. And Alex wants to go her own way. She had a corporate job in spaceship manufacturing, and then went off on her own and built her own scout ship, which she now uses to travel the galaxy and explore it and find interesting things in it. So great job. I love her. And we also meet Caleb, who works for the other side, the Senecan Foundation. He's like a James Bond kind of guy, solving problems, killing bad guys, having adventures all over the place. And they are both sent to explore this part of space where weird signal is coming from. So the story jumps around quite a bit between the bad guys. There's an alien pulling strings in the background, preparing Earth for an invasion. There's Caleb, there's Alex, there's her mother, there's friends of the family, there's various rogues and other miscellaneous people from this universe. So there's a lot of people to keep track of, and there's politics, there's a war building up, there's adventure and battles. Everything is here. I love this book. I have finished this book and I've started reading the next book in the series already. And this author has been on this list before. So I actually started reading this book earlier. So I really like this. I love all the space opera aspects of this book, the exploration, the battles, the politics, all that stuff, the creepy aliens, all that's good. There is a romance between Alex and Caleb, but it doesn't take over the plot. It's just there in the background. There's a little bit too much of it for my taste, but I am willing to accept that romance because of all the daring do and adventure and the murdering and the explosions and all the other good stuff. So I like this book very much, and I definitely plan to stick with the rest of the series, which, by the way, the whole series, let's see, I forgot to mention this. So the rest of the books in the series are $4 each, to $6 each. And but some random books through the series are also free or 99 cents today. So definitely pick them up if you plan to read this. So I'm definitely enjoying it. And I will probably pay money for other books in the series. All right, so that's it for today's Free Friday list. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Alex and Terrence, for helping me with the reviews.
Get me out of here.
All right, bye-bye everybody. See you next Friday.